progress, continuous improvement. Kaizen, for those of you that know Japanese, very famous word for continuous improvement. Blossoming, potential, forward, real positive terms in here. Net gain, maybe someone that invests in the stock market. I don't know. I think it was up today, by the way. I was following it a little bit earlier. New leaders, an opportunity to bring new players into the club. New heights. Thriving district. Was that you, Danny? Setting the bar pretty high to start with. Excellent. I think progress is a really great one. That's resonating highly with many folks on the call here this evening. Does anybody want to speak to one of these that maybe they've put in, or one that sort of resonates with them at all? I'll go straight to you, Danny, I think, because now you're leading the charge this season. So which one speaks to you the most, would you say?
Well, I think all of them, I mean, improving the district, but for me, it's about learning, it's about people's progress, personal development. And if you've got growth, then you've got more members in your club. So you're going to get more opportunities to be evaluated and new ideas coming into the club and more exciting clubs if you're growing. You know, so it's a summary of all the things you've got there.
Excellent. Thanks for that. I see someone that has actually spelt the word Kaizen and put it in there. Thanks for that. Problem with these word clouds is they keep moving. And I focus on it and it moves, but there's a lot of positive stuff there about growth, improvements, achieving goals. I think is a great one as well. And again, I'll just open it out to anyone. Is there one that speaks to anyone here on this call they just want to give a quick mention to at all? Eileen,
Nigel,
which one speaks to you? Oh, go for it. Yeah, sorry.
You know, I'd like to just point out about new skill sets coming into the clubs. It's wonderful when new people join, because everyone who becomes a member, they've something to offer to Toastmasters. Aside from a course back, we've so much to offer to them. But it's a wonderful synergy between new members and the Toastmasters International.
Excellent. Thank you so much for sharing. I'm just looking at one on there. The one that really speaks to me as well is the one called Blossom, because it reminds me of a story of the humble acorn, if anybody knows that. So if you can picture or imagine an acorn probably this big, what you have to recognize is that an acorn has got absolutely everything it needs inside it to become a magnificent oak tree. It doesn't need anything else. Well, actually, it needs three things. It needs obviously the soil, it needs the sunlight, and it needs the rain. But that's what metaphorically Toastmasters supports to us, so we can become our very own version of an oak tree from very, very small beginnings. And if you don't think you have to be big to make an impact, just think of the impact Mosquito can make on us. So there's a lot of great stuff coming through. We've got about 3 questions. I'm just conscious of time. I think I'll move through to the next one. We're still going to stay on Menti, and I think I've got a different format this time. You might find you're all fingers and thumbs typing in some responses here, but we want to understand and know, what is it that makes your club fun? Maybe you put in what your definition of fun is. We all know from our founder in our centenary year, Dr. Ralph Smedley, who said that we all learn at times of greatest enjoyment, and for me that is fun. And certainly the clubs I go to, boring speakers in Birmingham, and I know it sounds a bit like boring speakers, but it's boring speakers, and also on an online club as well. And we always go for fun over formality. We stretch the rules a little bit, but we make sure that we have fun, and folks leave the sessions feeling a lot better than when they arrive. We've got some really good things in here. Friendly, people loving table topics there. Diversity. Isn't diversity highly desirable in our clubs? You get people of different backgrounds, all sorts of differences in terms of, you know, hobbies. It could be anything, and it's just that sort of mesh of people coming together with different ideas and situations, which just enriches the fabric of our existence. I guess that's a good old Irish word on there, the crack. I never really did know how to spell it, but thank you so much for putting that one on. Network, variety, no 2 meetings are the same. I guess you all, like I probably do, use Toastmasters as a bit of a training ground or a proving ground. Bomb and fail there, so you don't do it in real life. And I think that's thoroughly the right thing to do. I think if I can scroll down a little bit, laughter again, it's that fun thing. Great thing about laughter. I don't know if anybody knows this or not, but if you feel happy, you can just smile naturally.
I think you're on mute, Nigel.
How long was I mute for? Was it?
Only about 5 seconds.
Oh, right, okay. So I was just talking. I just saw the one there about laughter. So what I was going to say there was, physiologically, if that's the right term, I don't know. Sounds like a good word of the day anyway. If you feel happy, you've got a tendency to smile. And if you force a smile, and they talk about a Duchenne smile or putting a pencil and clenching it between your teeth, internally you start to feel happy as well. And if you take that smile to full laughter, laughter is one of the few things which actually cures fear, because when you're in the moment and you're having a great time, you dispel thoughts of anything else. It's a little bit like having a cold shower, but one's more pleasurable than the other. But just moving on and reading through these, connecting with new people, stories. We know stories are the backbone of the art of great communication, social camaraderie. It's a pub. I knew we'd get one of those. Table topics comes up again. Non-serious. Good way of putting having fun, I guess. Learning, inspiration. Again, before we move on, is there anybody that wants to talk to any of these at all? Just sort of explain or just emphasize what fun means to you in your club? Anybody? I'm gonna pick on you then, Eileen, because I know you were keen last time. So either what did you put in, or what do you recognise on the screen that just stands out to you?
Is there just the one Eileen, Nigel, or is there a few?
There's only one. There can only be one. I think there's only one. I've got 3 screens here, but actually I've only got one screen with people on it, and you're the only Eileen, so I'll choose you.
That you see. You know, I think in any of the clubs that I have been in, the joy comes from the encouragement and the positivity of everybody. So no matter what anybody contributes, people are going to get recognize the good in that and recognize the fun in it. I think not being at a club meeting and not being afraid or not being called out for doing anything wrong or saying anything wrong brings fun to it. So I think that's it for me. So great encouragement at meetings.
Thank you so much for sharing. And Jay, you've got your hand raised.
Yeah, I think when I speak to new members, I've been Toastmaster a long time. It's definitely the warmth and the support that they get from other members that is the reason they keep coming back. They love the system, they love Toastmasters, but I think it's the other members that truly keep people coming back.
No, I totally agree. And for me, it is that sort of community of like-minded people. One of my most favourite quotes is from a guy called Jim Rohn, who was the coach to Tony Robbins, to anyone that's ever heard of Tony. And one of his most famous quotes goes along the lines of, "You are the average of the 5 people that you keep the most company with." And I think I'd just amend that to say, including yourself. And I think if you're in a group of really smart, bright people, you sort of elevate and rise. Remember, I think Steve Jobs saying once that, you know, if you walk into a room and you think you're the smartest person, you're in the wrong room fundamentally. So for me, it is that camaraderie, it is that community, it is that spirit. And I did a speech once where I said that community was better learning how to speak, it was better than leading, and it was better than listening. But for me, it's the 4th of the trilogy, if that makes sense, which clearly it doesn't. Should have thought about that a little bit more. But for me, community is really great. We've got training ground in there, watching people grow. Isn't it great that we support and mentor and see the difference in people's journeys from when they start? And they never get to a finish point, of course, because we're all work in progress, but that sort of arc of improvement, across all of that. So just want to say thanks to everyone for sharing some really great feedback for this particular part of the section. Fun is the one thing that money can't buy, according to Paul McCartney. I remember, Paul McCartney, I was probably a teenager. I'm going back to the 1980s, okay? And I read somewhere that Paul McCartney, even in the 1980s, was earning £1 a minute, okay? And here I am, like 40 odd years later, and I'm still not doing that. So I guess he got it right and I didn't. But anyway, thank you so much for that. We're going to move on to the last question before we go back to Steve and the rest of the amazing program this evening. And it's really just to have a feel for the particular clubs that you're engaged and involved with. How many members do you have? Where is that median point? What's the one with the most people in it? And I guess we're talking here paid members or I think I'm going forward into one of the later quiz questions, I think, so I'll keep my mouth shut. And it looks like we've got in the mid-range, pretty much 13 to 20, which of course 20 is that point where we I don't know the rules really, but I think you need 20 or so, don't you, or net gain of 3 to be eligible for your DCP points. But it's unfortunate that clearly there's a club there just needs a bit of help and probably coaching and support just down there with, or it's 2 now, with just 8 or less members. But to be honest, there's with more than 30, that's pretty healthy. I'm not sure what points you have to get to before you get advised to split the club, but I guess it's 40 plus. But it's good to see, particularly from this small sample on this call here this evening, that it's looking pretty healthy. You've got sort of that bell-shaped curve, so it's almost like it's been done by science, but it seems to be that we're in a healthy position of anywhere between the mid-teens to the mid-20s, which I think is a fantastic position to be in. So I think at this point, I'm just going to keep quiet. I'm going to pass back to host of this evening, which is Steve Campion, and he's going to drive us through the agenda. Steve, over to you.
Thank you very much, Nigel. In fact, I think we can stop sharing the screen because there's only so much actually it's not PowerPoint, it's Menti that we can all deal with, but it's exciting. Thank you, Nigel, for getting us started, getting us thinking, getting us talking and sharing news and insights. It's wonderful to see and hear what growth means to everyone on this call. The whole point of this meeting is to talk about growth, what we can do, how we can do more of it, and also why growth is important. I believe that growth is important because the world needs more, better communicators and leaders. I find it interesting that when the Toastmasters organization was started 100 years ago by Ralph C. Smedley, it wasn't because he wanted to write a book about public speaking. It's because he wanted to help people in his local community to become better leaders in their organizations and in their communities. And to do that by learning communication skills, by learning how to support and other people. And by doing so, that's how the organization grows. What growth means for us and in our clubs, I think, is something quite simple. It starts when a new person visits our club, when they enjoy the meeting, when they visualize themselves as part of that club and they commit to joining. Growth happens when that person delivers their icebreaker, when they get feedback, when they get help, support, encouragement, where they grow their skills and celebrate their successes. That growth continues when the person recommends their Toastmasters club, when they encourage more people to join and encourage visitors to join and current members to stay. And then ultimately growth happens when people look beyond their club, when they look at what opportunities there are outside of their clubs for them to continue to develop their skills and experiences. Essentially, I believe club growth doesn't start with club growth. It doesn't start with the idea of we're going to create lots of new clubs. It starts with the idea of every single one of our members, every single person that visits one of our clubs, finding it to be a rewarding, enjoyable experience, and then feeling that urge and desire to want to share it with more people. In a moment, I'm going to stop short talking. I'm going to hand over to the people who've got much more interesting things to say. I'm going to be handing over to the leaders of our different Torchbearers teams. And you'll think, what the heck is a Torchbearers team? Thank you, Nigel. Right on cue, very impressed. We have created a number of groups within our district. The idea behind the club growth teams is to support and encourage people who want to develop their skills outside of their club or inside their club by participating in activities that will lead to the growth in membership, retention of members, and the creation and support of new clubs and the support of existing clubs. Why Torchbearers? What the heck has it got to do with torches? Well, I like to think of it as like the Olympic flame, the Olympic torch relay. That idea of bringing the positivity, sharing this experience with more people, handing this experience to others, so that more people can discover the Toastmasters experience for themselves and can benefit from it. Club growth doesn't really start just with club growth, as I said. It starts when every one of our members wants to develop their skills and learn and grow together. In a moment, I'm going to introduce you to the leaders of each of these groups. But the way each of these groups works is that they will encourage people to focus on communities of practice, to bring people together who are interested in a specific area so they can learn and grow together. We're going to hear about fire starters who help start brand new clubs, guiding lights who help new clubs achieve levels of excellence and sustainability that means they're here for the long term. Rekindlers that helps clubs that have struggling with membership. We saw on that membership graph, there's a few that might need a little help. And Hearth Keepers is for people who want to do fun, engaging, challenging things within their own club to develop membership. Finally, the Bright Sparks group is about working with organizations, communities, getting the word out to help us grow new clubs and build more partnerships and connections with clubs. I'm going to stop talking at this point and hand to the first of our groups, not in the order I just presented them on the slide. The first team I'd like to present is our Rekindlers team. The Rekindlers team is led by James Finnegan and Patricia Radley. So James, over to you.
Thank you very much, Steve. What are the benefits of being a coach? Well, as Mr. Gareth Southgate has pointed out quite recently, you get the opportunity to support, encourage, and inspire. You will learn how to improve your communication, your speaking, and your active listening skills. Gosh, if only there was an organization around where we could get some practical practice at that. What you'll also do is you'll develop your teaching, your counseling, and your leadership skills. Another thing you'll pick up is an ability of empathy, of conflict resolution. I don't mean fighting, but I mean finding that happy middle ground, that everyone goes away with something. You would make connections. You will share experiences. As we've just seen in Nigel's exercise, no two meetings are the same, but I promise you, no two clubs are the same either. Perhaps more selfishly, you'll get an opportunity to work towards your DTM, towards various pathways projects, towards speeches. What you will do, and I can promise you this, is you will learn so much. You will be biting at the bit to help share your expertise and your experience, and you'll bring that back to your club. It will develop you as a Toastmaster. That's just a snippet. Back to you, Steve.
Patricia.
Thank you, Steve. So what are the qualities that a good coach possesses? They will, of course, need to be an active listener. They will need to be positive. We want to inject positivity and encouragement into these clubs. So you need to have a positive can-do attitude. They need to be focused, enthusiastic. They need to be able to set goals and work towards them with their respective clubs. They need to be patient. Sometimes things don't always go the way we want them to go, so we have to learn to be patient and go with the flow sometimes. Trusting, curious, and supportive. They need to be resilient. Again, things may not always go to plan, or you may need to change a plan at some point. So to be resilient and to be there to see the club through the different stages in its growth. A coach also needs to be willing to learn. The learning just isn't one way. It isn't just the club that you're coaching learning. You as a coach need to learn from the club and need to learn from others and impart that as well. They need to be, above all, motivated, experienced, very committed, and organised. So we're looking forward to working with coaches that possess these qualities and helping the clubs in the district grow and reach their potential and beyond. Back to you, Steve.
And James, did you have a final thing about the benefits to clubs to talk about?
The important thing, Steve, is that, like a good evaluation, your first point is the confirmation of what is going well. And there's always something going well. You then move on to those identifying what could be the possible development points. But the entire purpose of this is to enhance the members' experience, to revitalize that club that may be going through a sticky patch. But Patricia, I think you have a quotation there that sums up this very, very distinctly.
Yes, I think it can be summed up as a partnership between the club and the coach to help rebuild membership and restore quality to the member experience. So it's everyone working together to help the club grow. Back to you, Steve.
Thank you. Thank you, Patricia. Thank you, James, for sharing the exciting opportunities that being involved in club coaching and being part of the Rekindlers team can offer. And I would also like to thank James and Patricia, because I know they've already started making contact with clubs that may need help, may need support, to talk about how best to provide that support and encouragement. It's great to hear how people can benefit. Thank you. I will also point out, someone's pointed out to me that my laptop is misbehaving and the audio and video is not great, so apologies for that. If I get disconnected, then our wonderful district director, Danny Banks, is going to wonder what to do. So thank you, Danny, but I know we've got a wonderful team here, and I'm sure Nigel's got the plan for what we need to do next. Thank you. I would now like to introduce one of the leaders of our Fire Starters group. The Fire Starters is being led by Alex Nibbs and John Kendall. And to talk about Fire Starters, I'd now like to hand over to Alex Nibbs. Alex.
Steve, thank you very much. Just make sure that everybody can hear me. Just a thumbs up. Brilliant. Excellent. Thank you. So Fire Starters, I've got to say, it's fantastic to see such a great turnout on this call. They're pushing up towards 90 people. It's amazing on an evening. Haven't you got anything better to do? Seriously, it's great to see so many people attending this evening. So Fire Starters, what's this all about? Well, it's all about getting involved in helping new clubs to get started and get them off the ground. And I suspect if we quizzed everybody on this call today about how you got started in Toastmasters, if there's 86 people on the call, we'd have 86 completely unique stories. And I guess my story is just as unique as everybody else's as well. So I thought I'd share my background in Toastmasters and what I got out of things when we got things off the ground. And my journey started back in 2016. I was working for a company called PPD, not far from Cambridge. And that was my introduction. And it was totally by fluke. I knew nothing about Toastmasters at all. And I was having a chat with my line manager, who was based in the US. He said, "Oh, sorry, Alex." He said, "I've got to rush off. I've got a meeting." I said, "Oh, anything exciting?" He said, "Well, it's a Toastmasters meeting." And that was the first time I'd heard the word. Time moves on. Suddenly thought, hang on a minute. Did a bit of digging. Well, why couldn't we have a Toastmasters corporate club in the Cambridge office? We've got about 200 or 300 people who work in this office. Move forward very quickly. Long story quite short. We got a club going. We got buy-in from HR, and we got the club chartered in about 2 months with 20 members. And I was a training manager at the time. I thought I knew about presenting to people, talking to people, but the amount of stuff you learn from Toastmasters, it's just amazing. A little time after then, I joined Cambridge Speakers. In stark contrast, these were a very well-established club. They've been going for 20 odd years. And again, my learning just escalated even more, accelerated more, the amount of stuff I was able to learn. And we've spoken about some of the joys of being involved with Toastmasters. And then I got thinking, well, actually, Cambridge is about 20 miles from where I lived. I thought, well, my nearest town is Saffron Walden. Well, I wonder if we could get a Toastmasters club started there, a community club. I started asking around, doing a bit of digging, and I spoke to a very experienced Toastmaster at the time. And the question he asked me was, have they got a McDonald's there? And I thought, what a strange question. I said, well, no, they haven't got a McDonald's there, but what's that got to do with the price of fish? I just, over my head, I didn't understand the significance. And of course, many of you will know it's about the footfall and the likelihood of being able to get sufficient people. And starting a community club, completely different experience. It took a whole year to get that club chartered, but we grew organically from about 8 members at the first meeting, and then it just grew, and that club's still going strong today. And that's so satisfying when you see a club start from grassroots. And we had a ball inviting people along, VIPs, Sir Alan Hazelhurst, several mayors, because they get re-elected every year. Even Kemi Badenoch came along to one of our meetings. Yes, the Kemi Badenoch. And wherever I've worked, I've always sowed the seed of the interest in Toastmasters with interesting responses to that as well. And at my last company, Medidata, that I left just a couple of months ago, we got the club going, and we managed to get to distinguished in the very first year. And I haven't even touched on things like special interest clubs, advanced clubs. Really, if you get involved at the grassroots, getting this club going and helping those individuals get this club going, really, the world is your oyster. And I can promise you there's a lot of challenges, there's a lot of learning, and we've already mentioned there's a lot of fun that goes along with it as well. So fire starters, if you've got interest in becoming a club sponsor, maybe it's again for the nth time, that's what we're here for, to help you. The Fire Starters group, I'm here with John Kendall, got Steve in the background, very experienced Toastmasters. And I can promise you we'll help facilitate that process to help you on that journey. And with that, I'm going to hand back over to Steve.
Thank you very much indeed, Alex, our own answer to Keith Flint and the Prodigy, but sharing with us the delight and the challenge of not just starting new clubs, but keeping starting new clubs, bringing the Toastmasters experience to more and more people. It is very rewarding, and it's an exciting thing to do. But once we start a new club, new clubs need help. This is where our next group, the Guiding Lights group, comes in. The 2 people leading Guiding Lights are Mari Manning and John Alsop. So to present the Guiding Lights group, please welcome John Alsop. John.
Thank you, Steve. Welcome everybody, and thank you for such a warm welcome. I was just listening to Alex speak then. I don't know, for members of Toastmasters who've been a member as long as I have, you go through lots of different experiences in the Toastmaster journey. And when I saw Alex's name on the agenda, I thought, that Alex, I'm not seeing him for a long time. And the first time I met Alex was when Saffron Walden Club was being started, and I had the pleasure of going along and helping out in the start of the club, and I'm absolutely delighted that the club is still going strong. So we've talked about starting a new club, and I now like to talk about mentoring a new club. I was really excited when Steve mentioned this to me, because I'm really excited about the opportunities for members to grow in different ways other than just communication and leadership. And I think mentoring is one of those core skills of life. So I had all these ideas, and Mary and I have been talking. I had a list of things I wanted to talk about, and then Steve sent me the agenda and he said 5 minutes. So I've got 5 minutes to tell you our thoughts about mentoring and club mentoring. First of all, guiding lights. He mentioned guiding lights, and I thought, well, what does guiding lights mean to me? And 2 things came to mind. 1, showing the way, and 2, a safe harbour. And that to me is what club mentoring is about, showing the way and being a safe harbour for the club to grow and prosper. I've got 5 minutes, so there's 3 things I want to talk about. The first one is the importance of sustainability when starting new clubs. The first thing in this area, I believe, is to evolve from the enthusiasm, the effort, and the commitment of those starting a new club to become a successful, rewarding, enjoyable club for the officers, the members, and the future members. The second thing is to support the transitioning of the inaugural club officers from being inexperienced club officers to become effective Toastmaster leaders. And I think the mentoring opportunities for Toastmasters is great in that respect. And the third thing is to ensure the corporate principles of Toastmaster, that of respect, integrity, service, and excellence, becomes embedded and flourishes within a new club. So I believe that with those 3 aspects, then clubs will be sustainable and flourish. And it's key for club mentors to understand what the goal is being a club mentor. So our plans for the training and providing support for club mentors, new club mentors, returning club mentors, or anybody who's interested in mentoring, covers a couple of aspects. The first one is that we will be running a series of workshops and webinars covering topics such as planning, emotional intelligence, conflict management, all those aspects of mentoring that come into play. The second one is to provide one-to-one support for mentors to give advice, a sounding board and encouragement. And thirdly, to hold regular roundtable meetings to facilitate, encourage sharing of ideas, experiences, and a better understanding of club mentoring. The final thing I wanted to talk about was our intention to have a club mentor playbook. Fantastic, stupendous. What the flipping heck is going to be a club mentor playbook? Well, this will be our manual, if you like, for club mentors. It will cover things like the guiding principles of club mentorship, the key areas for attention for club mentors, action plans, training sheets, progress monitoring records, and reference materials. So we've got great ideas for club mentors, and I would encourage anybody who's interested in mentoring, and specifically in club mentoring, to keep aware of what's going on in the guiding lights, and we will be in touch and look forward to working with everybody. Thank you, Steve.
Thank you very much indeed, John. And I appreciated how you talked about the name of the team being evocative and being meaningful, because some of these names might sound a bit strange, and you could say, let's call it the new club quality team, but it's better to talk about the vision and the safe harbor and the wonderful guidance that Guiding Lights can give. I noticed in the chat a couple of people talking about how valuable new club mentoring is, and even from someone who's seen the benefit of being a member of a club that's had a new club mentor. Thank you. The next person I would like to invite up is our Hearthkeepers lead. That is Darren Walton. So please put your hands together for Darren. Darren.
Thank you, Steve. Is my microphone working okay? Can everybody hear me?
You're all good.
Fabulous. Right. Hearthkeepers, what are we doing here? It's great because I had an idea about a project I'd like to do this season, and I didn't think I was going to be able to reach many clubs with it. Perhaps those clubs in my area, maybe some in a division. And I got talking to Steve, and he'd already had an idea, which was the same as my idea, which is fabulous. And the seeds that have made this grow are those that talk about the amounts that our members in our clubs get involved with leadership aspects of the clubs. Because I've come across a few clubs where they struggle to get different people into the committee. So the committee doesn't change. The same people stay in the committees. They keep doing the same things and the club doesn't grow. That doesn't mean to say that people aren't enjoying themselves in the club, because they are. It doesn't mean to say that the club is a bad club, because quite often it's a fantastic club, but it just isn't getting the growth it would get from having new thoughts coming through the committee. So that's something that I wanted to talk about. I wanted to think about how we could get people involved in some leadership aspects of Toastmasters. But let's face it, after a long, hard day at work, who wants to have to do more work, right? And that's one of the problems that we have with people who are taking on these leadership roles. They struggle with time. It's a fact. I got talking to one or two people. Our PR people now in the district are going to be helping clubs by posting media that clubs provide, by sharing social media that clubs post online. So they're going to be doing PR for the clubs, okay? Which leads us to one of the first challenges that I'm going to propose for Hearthkeepers, because that's what Hearthkeepers is going to be about. It's going to be about people achieving challenges. I will set the first one, but I don't expect to set the rest. I want the people who come and join the Hearthkeepers group to have the warmth and the heart and the spirit to come up with their own challenges and to make them fun, okay? I don't know if you've all seen the Toastmasters magazine this month, but there's a great piece in there actually about the culture of belonging. And I think that's what I'm trying to achieve when I'm talking about making challenges fun. I want people to enjoy them. The first challenge then would be this: to interview as many members of your club as you can and post the video online, a short video. No more than a minute, please, because otherwise we'll have masses of data to churn through. And you can do that by going to the district website where you'll find links from the top menu. It's fairly straightforward. Also, if you do post things on social media, there are instructions about what tags you can use. And those tags will get picked up by the district PR team and they'll share your social media posts straight off the bat. So again, you're growing, the word is spreading. So please, if you're interested, get involved. I'm sure that it'll be worth your while.
Thank you very much, Darren, for sharing that. And as Darren said, the idea behind the Hearthkeepers group is a little bit different to the other ones. Whereas the first three groups we've heard of so far are focused on bringing together communities of practice, providing training, getting outside of the club. The Hearthkeepers team is doing things within their own clubs, designed to create connections, community, and have fun, because that enjoyment is all the more important. We will definitely be sharing challenge number 1, which is going to run from the beginning of August to the end of September, and we'll have lots of fun with that. The next and final team I would like to present is our Bright Sparks group. Leading our Bright Sparks team is Eileen O'Neill. So Eileen, over to you, please.
Thank you very much, Steve. Bright Sparks is all about bringing Toastmasters to people who don't know about Toastmasters or who have misconceptions about what Toastmasters is. I'd say all of you in this room have heard that the biggest kept secret in the world is Toastmasters and the benefit that it can bring to people. We wanted in Bright Sparks to become a household name, and not only a household name, but a household name that everybody understands what it means. We wanted to dispel the fear of Toastmasters, because many people know what Toastmasters is, but are afraid to come to their first meeting in the club because, hey, I'm going to have to stand up and talk to people and make a show of myself. We want to show, especially to organizations, and I have a deep love of this, the benefit that Toastmasters and a corporate club can bring to their employees. I have seen so many people through my own experience of the corporate clubs that I've attended go from being quiet people who will never speak at a meeting to having a voice, and those people becoming leaders. That's the message that I'd love to get out to our corporates and our organizations. And there are so many of those around Ireland and around England. America has cracked this. Toastmasters is huge among corporates in America and amongst organizations. Why is that not the case in Ireland and England? And that's the nut we want to crack in the Bright Sparks team. During the year, we're going to create marketing materials that help non-Toastmasters to understand what Toastmasters is all about and how it can help everybody, even as Alex was saying, those people who think they actually do know how to speak and deliver at a meeting, because they can learn that they're actually talking, but their audience isn't listening. We want to also develop promotional material generally for non-Toastmasters and get that out there to the non-Toastmaster audiences. We want to have a targeted campaign where we target particular hubs of organizations, bring them together into a showcase, a roadshow, and demonstrate what Toastmasters can bring to those organizations. We're looking at having a quarterly corporate summit where we bring corporates together, again, to help them to understand what Toastmasters is all about. And then we're looking to have a special event at the district conference specifically for corporates and non-Toastmasters to help them see what Toastmasters can bring if you've been in the organization long enough, and see maybe an international speech in progress. In order to do that, we need a team of people who are experienced in marketing. We need people who are experienced in event management and people who are experienced in people development. And if you have any of those skills, or if you know anybody with those skills, I want to hear from them, because I think with that expertise behind us, we'll be able to make that inroads into creating Toastmasters as a household name that everybody understands and get rid of this secret. So if you're interested, I'd love to hear from you. Or if you know anybody else who would be interested, send their name my way. Thank you, Steve.
Thank you very much, Eileen. I think it's a very exciting opportunity, a very exciting prospect to really dig into what can make us successful in building partnerships and building awareness within organizations, whether they're employers, universities, colleges, organizations as a whole, to really get the name of Toastmasters out there. I think it's a very exciting initiative. I would like to thank Patricia, James, I've got my list. Patricia, James, Alex, John, Mari, Darren, and Eileen, because what we've seen today is their enthusiasm and desire to help people within our district and beyond our district to learn and grow by contributing, by putting into practice skills that they can develop that will help themselves in their careers, in their personal lives, in their own areas of interest, but also help the organization. Because we all know what it's like when we're a member of a club and we've got new people coming along, we've got new stories, we've got vibrancy, we've got excitement. And we also, some of us know what it's like when we don't have that. We want more clubs to be vibrant, exciting, enjoyable places to be. And we want more clubs to bring that experience to more people. So thank you. I would like to, at this point, hand back to Nigel, because you've all been listening a lot, and Nigel's really good at getting things on the screen that make it fun and interactive. One way I'm going to make it fun and interactive is Nigel's going to run a quiz. There's going to be a winner. The winner of the quiz will get a t-shirt a bit like this, not this actual t-shirt, but a t-shirt a bit like this, and lots of goodies for their club. I'll share more details afterwards, but with that, I would like to hand over to Nigel. Nigel.
Thanks so much, Steve. And we're going to continue the theme of fun. I think we've got almost 90 people in the house tonight. We've got about 15, 16, 17, 18. I'm going to wait for that to get a little bit bigger. We've only got 5 questions, and this is going to test your active listening skills. So I think all the answers that are on these questions actually you will have heard in the last half an hour or so. If you just want to jump onto Menti, if you've got your phone in front of you with the QR code, it's there in the bottom left-hand corner of the screen. We're up to 29. Can we get it any higher than that? I'll go with 30. I just want to be respectful of time so that we don't go into extra time and penalties for this, because I think there's only going to be one winner. And as you've seen from Steve already, literally no expense has been spared on the prizes tonight. And I do mean literally no expense. So let's go. We've got 40 in the room, and let's move forward with the first question. So which of the club growth teams help people that want to start a new club? Might be a clue in one of the titles, I think. That helps. Most of the answers coming in now. I think everyone. Excellent. So that's really good news. So a lot of people got that right, but it's not just who got it right, it's who got it right in the fastest time. So let's just go to our scoreboard. And we've got a digital one. Is that your national insurance number or your phone number? Who's 54771205? Anyone want to give me a wave? I can't see all the screens, actually. I can't see who's in there, but we've got Rob, and Barefoot Contessa is an alias. I know that for sure. So it's all very close, all very close. So let's move on to question 2. One step closer to that exclusive T-shirt. And we've got 50 players in the room now. Excellent. Question 2. How many paid clubs did District 71 have on 1st of July? I'm assuming 1st of July this year, so just a couple of weeks ago. A lot of the answers are coming in. Just a few seconds to go. Make sure you get this one right. Someone's drawing on the screen. It was 194. And Steve, can you tell us what the significance of that 194 clubs meant to our district?
I would be delighted. Thank you, Nigel. 194 paid clubs means that we increased the number of clubs in our district. That's particularly significant this year because it means worldwide, globally, District 71 is recognised as a select distinguished district. It's been 8 years since our district has achieved that level of accolade and performance in terms of clubs, memberships, and the quality of our club meetings. So it's an exciting thing to have achieved. Thank you.
Excellent. Thanks for pointing that out, Steve. And I'm getting more graffiti on the screen here, so I'm not sure it's going to cloud over all the answers on here. But what does it mean to the leaderboard? Do we have a new leader? And it looks like we do. And I think it could be, and it is District Director Danny. Well, I'm sure you saw the advanced viewing of all these questions, so I think we'll have to take you off the podium if you win this. I think you've already got the T-shirt. You've been there, seen it, done it, haven't you, Danny? So no need for that.
I've got 3 T-shirts, 2 of them fit.
We love the rule of 3 and triads and Toastmasters. So
I haven't seen the questions. I haven't seen anything to do with this tonight.
I believe you.
Ask Steve.
Let's move on then. Again, just a bit respectful of time. So we're going to move on to question 3. Question 3. Oh, Hearthkeepers. Who was listening about Hearthkeepers? What was Darren talking about? Find some suitable lift music for these questions. We're almost there. And of course, it is all members, all members. I think now we're going to move straight on to question 4. So we'll save the leaderboard for just one moment and just go for it again. Ooh, who's got the most members in District 71 as of July the 1st? 46, 48, 50 or 52? Alpana, excellent. More lines. Okay, their distribution, but it is actually 50. So only 10 of you got that right. So that should start to thin out our top 10. So let's see where that's going to take us. Oh, yes, maybe. Danny is still there. You feeling the pressure? There's only one to go here.
I think we might rule Danny out from the prize,
so.
but
So,
yeah.
So is Marion on the call? Is Marion there? Probably on a different screen that I can see, but for some reason I don't know why Danny's on my screen. But anyway.
I'm here anyway.
And we got. Yeah, you are. You're there. Excellent. How you feeling?
Oh, feeling a winner.
A winner, and all you've ever wanted is a Toastmasters T-shirt, of course.
Absolutely, don't have one.
Perhaps the world's second best kept secret. I guess it's one size fits all. I know Steve's modelling it fairly well tonight. One question to go. Good luck. This is question 5. Ready? Oh, percentage, maths, algebra, fractions. Oh, the answers are 47, 57, 67, or 77%. I'm just going to look at the answer because I don't know either. Again, congratulations to the 10 that got that right. I think that's going to thin out the podium a little bit. Let's take a look. So I haven't even got a drum roll here, Steve. So we're probably going to have to sort of, if we can just sort of do a bit of jazz hands and waving for the results that are going to come up next. Our worthy winner this evening is no other than, it could be, it probably is. What we're going to do, Steve? Do we need a steward's inquiry?
Yeah, I think so. We might have to go for the second place winner. Although I will say, Danny absolutely did not know what was going to be in this webinar today.
Well,
So
can I
I
also
think
say it's speed as well. And I'm
it
not
is
known for
speed, yeah.
speed.
And Danny, you're
No, it's
leading the
all
way
right.
with
I'll
speed.
wave my prize.
Okay.
Thank you, Danny. I'm sure we will discover through the miracles of technology who our second place winner is. We will get the prize to that person.
It is. I can cut. It is Shirley. Shirley.
It is Shirley. Oh well, congratulations, Shirley.
Thank you.
Achieving this.
Shirley?
She's not very far
Hi,
away
I'm
from
here.
you.
Yeah, I'm based in Northampton, Nigel.
Excellent.
But I'm not part of the Northampton speakers. I'm in a corporate club called Toastmasters in Travel.
Well, I think we've got a minute for an acceptance speech here, Shirley. Go for it.
I think I was just quick with the finger, to be honest, Nigel. I think I had a couple of lucky guesses there, but yes, thank you very much. Really enjoyed the session today, and I look forward to receiving my T-shirt, and I'll wear it with pride.
Well, congratulations, and of course it will be in the post within the week, I guess. And so, Steve, at this point, I think I'm going to hand back to you. Thanks everyone for having a bit of fun and a really enjoyable evening. But I think Steve's going to close out now with some really key comments.
I will. Thank you very much, Nigel. I would like to say thank you to Nigel and thank you to David, who behind the scenes has been looking after this Zoom webinar so well for us. I really do appreciate it. And those quizzes, they're a good bit of fun. They're good things to learn and to play with new things and to enjoy our times together. I find it interesting with some of those questions, how 47% of our clubs in District 71 had growth in membership last year. What does that mean for us? It means that there's potential. There is opportunity. There is always opportunity in our clubs to grow membership, to retain members, to create new clubs. We had 194 at the beginning of this Toastmasters year. How many will we have at the end of this Toastmasters year? I was looking recently, prompted by something I saw online, at the figures from another district. It was actually District 94. District 94 grew by 3,209 members in the past year. And you might think that's an incredible number of members. Our district grew by 1,952. 1,952 new people finding out about Toastmasters, deciding to commit to Toastmasters and concluding that it can help them to achieve their goals. There is so many opportunities for us to work together to help our clubs to learn to help our members to learn and grow, to help our clubs to create new clubs. I'm indebted to everyone who's presented this evening to share the ideas of the groups, the Torchbearers teams that can help support every single person on this call and every single person who will see this video after this call to learn, to grow, to get involved and help more people discover the Toastmasters benefits, help more people discover the benefits that we here on this call have discovered for ourselves. Nigel, I would like to ask you, final thing, if I could ask you to show the last slide, because one of the big questions in everyone's mind is, so what now? How do we get involved? We've heard about these wonderful teams, these wonderful groups that are going to support, guide, train people within our district. How do you get involved? Well, the answer is pretty simple. Simply scan this QR code with your mobile device and go to the web page, or click on the link that we're going to make available in the chat and also share via email and on our district website and on YouTube, in order to complete a very simple form with your name, which group you're interested in and why you're interested. And then a member of one of the teams will get in touch with you.